Welcome back to Real Talk Torah, courtesy of the DataBeis with Rav Yeshua Eisenberg. I'm Rav Yeshua Eisenberg, and you've just entered the DataBeis. And for today's issue, I've titled it, Checkpoint, What Video Games and Siyumim Have in Common. Now, where am I going with this? Well, first thing, I'll just wish a mazel tov to everybody who just finished learning Maseches Eiruvin. Klal Yisrael and Daf Yomi has just made the Siyum today, and now, with strength, we move on to Maseches Pesachim, and this is an amazing time to jump onto the Daf Yomi cycle, Daf Yomi train. If you're on the fence, you're thinking about it, definitely take advantage now. It's a great time not only because it's a new Masechta, but it's a packed Masechta, it's an enjoyable Masechta, and we finish right before Pesach, which is really amazing. So if you know, there's no better Masechta to finish right before Pesach than Maseches Pesachim. And it's also excellent just because there's Tainas Bechorim going into Pesach. So it's amazing. And for those of you who are thinking about doing it with Zichru, go back and listen to my interview with Rabbi Goldhar. It was a great conversation. If you're thinking about doing Zichru, just look up Zichru. Zichru is a way to retain your Torah knowledge, and especially for Daf Yomi. And it's something that you will not regret if you're willing to take the time to do it. It's not such a long commitment, and you do a little bit daily. And it's an amazing experience for your learning. And it's really great just for, for remembering your Torah, but also giving you some kind of incentive to not only commit to your Daf Yomi, but to actually commit your Daf Yomi to your memory. Now, as we are now talking about Siyumim, I want to talk about what exactly we get out of Siyumim, and it starts from a conversation about video games. Now, what exactly can we learn from video games? So, I think quite a lot. Could be that you grew up on video games. I know I certainly did, and in fact, regretfully, a lot of time of my life was spent on video games, and you can't blame a person for being a kid, and the thing is, a lot of that sticks with you. And no differently, a few years ago, when I was an advisor at NCSY, I was giving a session, and at this particular session, I actually opened the floor to the NCSYers, the high schoolers, and I said, what would you guys like to talk about? And one of them said, let's talk about video games. And then it hit me, video games is something that speaks to people. And if you think about it, it's crazy because video games can hardly contribute anything significant to a person's life. They provide entertainment, but in terms of substance, people talk about maybe hand-eye coordination. I think it's a lot of baloney. But for some reason, video games make us tick. And for at least for the people that it works for, you could spend hours and hours and hours on a video game. All you did was move your fingers. You didn't really accomplish anything. And so why is it that video games make us really excited and we get absorbed in a video game? What is the effect of a video game? What is the reward of a video game? And the answer is that there is this instant immediate gratification, and it's not anything, it's not like eating where your taste buds feel it and you enjoy it. It's not like something in terms of the sensory experience that it actually provides pleasure. But when our eyes see the flashing lights of whatever is happening in that video game, whenever you level up and you hear that sound that says you did it, or there's some kind of, whether it's the sound effect when you do well, or it's the lights flashing, whatever it is, there's something immediately telling you did it. Whenever you cross a checkpoint, whenever you reach a milestone, whenever you grow a level, the video game immediately tells you that you're accomplishing something. And the amazing effect of the video game is that it convinces you through just moving your fingers and pressing buttons that you've actually accomplished something. The neurotransmitters fire off in our brain telling us that we're winning, that we're doing well, that we're accomplishing, and we feel great. And that's it, we've grown a level. And the shame is that many of the important things in life we don't really have that, because here you are, you just did nothing for 2 hours. You just, you rolled your fingers around and pressed buttons, and you toggled with little mechanics, right? And then all of a sudden there's lights flashing, there's music sounding off, and it's telling you that you did it and you didn't do anything. Now, we feel really excited about it, and then after, when you look at the time and you realize how much time you wasted. So if that game is no longer on, and you might not feel it anymore. But that's the effect of the video game. And most of life doesn't provide that immediate gratification whenever you do something well. We don't have that every single time you learn a daf of Gemara, or every single time you break your teeth on a Tosfos, every single time you spend hours doing something of substance, whether it's reciting Tehillim or you davened with Kavana. We don't have lights flashing and music playing saying that we just did it. And of course, it's a shame, but maybe there is something somewhat that we can do about it. And I think we have to think about all the places in life where we have these laser light shows, and every single place where we find that music playing, and notice that it's not just video games, it's in all different areas of life. Now, let's bring this back to the concept of the Siyum. The concept of a Siyum goes back to the Gemara. I don't remember if it was Abaye or Rav, but in one of the Gemaras, the Gemara states that whenever this Rav, when he this Samora, he would, whenever someone would finish a Masechta, he would make a party. He would make a Siyum. Now, what's the value of doing that? So you could say kavod Torah. It's just providing kavod where kavod is due, the respect to the Torah. We should celebrate, holy accomplishments. But perhaps I think a very important aspect of Siyumim is just the concept of celebrating accomplishments that are worthwhile. Celebrating accomplishments that we can not just, enjoy for now, but we take it to the bank forever. How many important things in life do we not do just because we don't feel that incentive, we don't feel that celebration? Now, of course, you're not supposed to learn Gemara so that you can get a celebration, so that you can get a party at the end of it. But the fact that you have an incentive, is something that can push you. The fact that we have competition in general, right? If you see, the concept of kinas sofrim, tar b'chachma, that jealousy of people who are learning better than you, quote unquote jealousy of people who are accomplishing, that's a jealousy you're supposed to have, because that enables you, it encourages you, and it challenges you to do better yourself. And we can have that in all important areas in life, in general. Right, so now obviously if you do too many rewards, so it can lose its effect. But we need to try to make a little, try to be a part of programs like Zichru, where you can, sometimes Zichru has interactive programming. We should try to create places that incentivize things. How many people would work hard in a sports tournament if they didn't know that they were going to get a shiny plastic trophy at the end? Now, the shiny plastic trophy is silly, but when you have something in front of you, something shiny, something shining, something that plays music, if there's music playing at that sport event, like the Siyum Hashas, being able to go to the Siyum Hashas, experiencing the atmosphere of the Siyum Hashas, and being able to say to yourself that I did it, that's something that's incredible. And guess what? It's really not about the big party with all, in the big stadium where you could say you did it. It's not about that. It's about the work that you put in. But that work that you put in has actual value. It's not an imaginary brass ring like a video game, where you're actually not accomplishing anything. We need to incentivize things of meaning. And, granted, it's not about the reward that we think it is. And, it's okay. I remember when growing up, when I was in elementary school, when we were davening, so one of the Rebbeim would walk around handing out candies. I remember there were these big lollipops. They were called blow pops. These huge, sugary lollipops with gum inside, and everyone wanted these lollipops. I remember there was blue raspberry flavor, there was green apple, and everyone wanted these lollipops. And you davened more. And as the Gemara, as we're going to see in Pesachim coming up, mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma, you didn't originally do it for the right reason. But you know what? You had an incentive. You went with that incentive, and you made it a part of who you are. And guess what? Now you've improved your life. You're now doing something of meaning. Hopefully, you've graduated from lo lishma to lishma. But once you're doing it lishma, it was because, and you can ask, you can question this rabbi's tactic. Why is he going around handing out candy? They're davening for the wrong reason. But you know what? The way it works is that if we create little incentives for ourselves, accomplishments, celebrate little things. And I think all mechanchim should celebrate these little things. Rabbanim in shul should celebrate these little things. Fathers in the household should celebrate little things that are of true value. Small things, but of true value. Then we can get so much further. The problem is that we're not excited about these things, and we don't create, we probably don't create enough incentives. There's a story, I don't remember if the story was with the Stipler or with Rav Moshe, I don't remember who it was, but there was a story about a person who, I don't know if he was about Tshuva, but a person who very much struggled with Gemara, and he broke his teeth, and after hours he was able to finish one line of Gemara. And then the Rav made an incredible party, a Siyum, for this person on this one line. Now, maybe for some people that might seem patronizing, but what was he accomplishing? He was creating an incredible incentive. The music and the sound effects that are necessary to celebrate what might look like a small accomplishment, but an accomplishment of value, and that will forever incentivize future accomplishments. And again, these brass rings exist with so many different things. There are these imaginary brass rings, the things that we pursue in life that we think are meaningful, whether it's money, whether it's kibudim. Oh, who doesn't want the honor? I remember when I was growing up also in elementary school, every month there was Talmud HaChodesh, and you get a nice certificate, but it's just a piece of paper. I remember there was no year I wanted to become Talmud HaChodesh more than in the third grade. Why? Because the Rebbe in the third grade would give out a little wooden plaque, a rectangular wooden plaque for anyone who was Talmud HaChodesh. That was the year I wanted it most. Happens to be I didn't get it at all that year. But you know what? He put a piece of wood in front of me, and I wanted to be Talmud HaChodesh. And it's little things like this. Right now, so I'm working in a yeshiva now, where there's a class that's being treated to a special davening incentive. It's a program called Class Dojo. And what is Class Dojo? You can do so many different things with it. But the Rebbe that is doing this program with the Talmidim is basically what it works is that each student has a corresponding emoji, and it's on the smartboard, so they can all see their emoji. They can all see their little character, their little figure. And very simple, right next to that emoji, there are points. And I'll just caution you that this Rebbe spoke to a Rebbe of his. He got clearance to do this, because what happens every time they're davening well, all you have to do, you can activate it from your phone or from a control, if you're the mechanich in the room, and you simply give them points as they are davening, and the points flash on just like a video game, like a level up. And it gets all the kids' attention, they're all watching, and of course, it's not lishma maybe at the moment, but we are incentivizing davening, and they're going to learn to make davening a part of who they are. And just like me with that lollipop when I was in elementary school, Baruch Hashem, I think my davening truly improved. Because what you do, you end up doing it shelo lishma, but then after a while you start saying, why am I doing this? And then you eventually start doing it for the right reason. And right now, okay, is it just a video game? For these kids who are davening and they need some kind of incentive, maybe right now for them it's just a video game. But you know what? We need to make more important things in our life, like video games. Because again, you go look at a video game, which a person can spend hours and hours, and not really accomplish anything. And it's crazy because you have the lights flashing, you have the music playing and the sound effects going, as I keep on talking about. And what is it backed up with? It's like inflation with money. You could print money, but if it's not backed up with anything of meaning, if it's not backed up with gold or whatever money is backed up by nowadays, if it's not backed up with anything, so then it's worthless. But if you do something of meaning, if you celebrate things like davening, if you celebrate things like Torah learning, then guess what? Even though you might not be doing it lishma, even though you might be doing it for quote-unquote the paper money or the shiny coins, or you might be doing it for the party, you might be doing it for the celebration, you might be doing it for whatever incentive it is, but guess what? You actually take that to the bank. It's backed up with something of true value. And this can be our way, our token, and I mean that in more than one way, our token and ticket into success in our Avodas Hashem. And sometimes we need to create these incentives for ourselves. I think it's probably better to have a buddy, try to have a buddy in our Avodas Hashem, create some kind of incentive where if we accomplish something, then we get something for it. Something that we could see in this world, not just the true value in the next world, of course, but how many of us are truly, truly motivated by that reward that we cannot see. Why not put a reward in front of us that at least we can see, something that can keep us going, something that'll keep pushing us so that we can succeed. And then in that case, it's a win-win. It could be something so little. Maybe it could be a certificate, and we can have someone create a certificate for us. Maybe it can be a food. Maybe it can be a party, and maybe it could be something as simple as a decorative pin that we can have for ourselves. Maybe it's an actual token. I know someone who was making a Hatzalah learning program, just for his friends in Hatzalah, and for every person who joined, he just gave them a token. It was like he manufactured this token with this artwork on it, and whoever joined was a part of this group of people who were learning, who happened to also be members of Hatzalah, and they all got this token that says, I'm a part of this program. It's a great opportunity. It's something that we should all consider in Avodas Hashem. Again, whether we are mechanech, whether we are a rav, whether we are just a father of a household, or whatever it is we are involved in, or we are just a person who needs his own incentives. Try to find a person who can help us in that directive. And if we do, we'll cross those checkpoints. We will see the fruits of our labor, something that we could hold on to in this world. And of course, Karen Kayemis Lo Lam Haba, we will get the fullest reward in the next world. But again, we have to create those incentives for ourselves. And Be'ezras Hashem, Mitoch Shelo Lishma Ba Lishma. So guys, now's the time. If it's Daf Yomi, it doesn't have to be Daf Yomi. If it's Daf Yomi, jump in, just do it. If it's any other kind of Torah learning, find some way to give yourself that incentive, and Be'ezras Hashem, we will level up in the most meaningful way. Anyway, that's all the time we have left for this Real Talk Torah. So keep it real, keep talking, and most importantly, keep the Torah. Thank you for joining us here at the DataBeis.